Hey there. Last video I was trying to mold PU foam and it went pretty badly because the walls were just too thin I think and it bended the walls, and it was also really hard to get out. For the walls, I just want to make the proper mold with bigger walls, and the amazing web shop recommended me to get PVA, which you can use to get it loose and stuff. They sent me a lot of extra goodies and stuff like that, so that's great. Before we can actually try it, we need to start printing the foam mold, because last video I was struggling really badly. As you can see right here, I was having like so many issues. I think I tried like 12 things. So I really wanted to change some settings up, and as you can see, I did a few test prints, and this is a wrongly leveled bed or nozzle, and this looks way worse to what I got it to now because I was doing it wrong. So this is how it looks now. It's honestly perfect, and it might be a little bit hard to see and the lights are flickering and stuff, but yeah, it's just way better. You can see it right here as well. This is a pretty good comparison, I think. So I was quite confident that with this new proper leveling, I would be able to do it. So time to start printing. It would take 26 hours, even on the fastest mode. But I was kind of bored of making videos myself, so my dad ordered this stuff. It's an amazing camera, and that means I can just watch what is happening on my phone live, which is honestly fun. And it's also some peace of mind. So even if I'm not at home, I can also just stop the print or listen if it's making weird sounds, stuff like that. As you can see, this is what the app looks like. Pretty good. And it can also make some really cool time lapses. So as I said, I filled a lot of prints, so I have a lot of these things laying around, and I don't want to waste them. And I also want to kind of test the PVA and stuff like that. So why don't we just repurpose this? So I stuck it onto this test print that I showed earlier with some super glue, and I did that so that it, like, I don't know how else I'm gonna put PU foam in there, and I know it's gonna be hard to take out, but I mean, it's a good test to see if the PVA works well. The print was looking absolutely perfect, the best so far, so it's great, and it was pretty strong. So I quickly went outside and added the PVA, but it would take 3 to 4 hours to dry, so I still had some time to kill. It was pretty easy to do. Then, sadly and annoyingly, the nozzle of the 3D printer got stuck. So I had to cancel the print, because I know that if it happens now, it will happen again. And honestly, the print was perfect. This was a print I did before that, by the way. You can see like the bubbly stuff at the top. Yeah, I think that is being clogged because of the amount of infill, and it like runs through what it just did constantly. So I'll just be trying to just add less infill or a different pattern, and then hopefully it'll work, okay? I don't know. There are a few good lessons for me. I hope I don't get this many issues in the future. So it's the next day, and I was ready to start printing the version with less infill, hoping that it would not clog the nozzle. As you can see, it was doing pretty well. I just don't know why the nozzle like clogs, because it goes over its own infill constantly. Anyways, the PVA dried overnight, and as you can see, it looks like this. It's just a little bit more shiny. So I'm ready to start mixing the PU foam and just adding it to the mold. Now, to be fair, I kind of forgot to be like scientific, and I just eyeballed it. So the ratio was probably not good, but we'll see how that goes. It had a bit more hardener than the other thing, so... And it was also a way smaller amount, because last time I used way more. So I added it to the mold, as you can see, and I covered it up because it was very hot outside and I didn't know if that would impact it. And as you can see, I was a little bit disappointed with the reaction, but that's honestly my own fault, because last time it reacted way more, and now with the wrong like ratio, it's definitely doing a lot worse, because I did add a lot. So I was kind of hoping that it would at least fill the entire thing. And as you can see, after a while, it sort of did. In the meantime, the printer was still going strong, so I was feeling very happy. I thought this is gonna be the one time where I finally make it. So we'll see. This is the time lapse taken by the new camera, by the way. Alright, so in the meantime, the foam dried up, and I put a stick in it, by the way, to hopefully pull it out a bit better. So, I mean, it was looking pretty good. And yeah, the stick broke off, so that wasn't the best. But as you can see, I could pull off the bottom layer very easily. So that means that the PVA actually worked with not sticking to the foam. And then my camera fell. So I took it off camera, and as you can see, the stuff that was still like in the mold kind of stuck to it. So this part of the mold was left in the mixing bottle thingy, beaker or whatever, and I realized that the top part is different than the bottom part. As you can hear, this part is really hard when you smash it on the ground, and this part is not, and this is the part that was inside of the beaker. So I kind of want to know why that is and how we can make sure that the part inside of the mold will still stay strong. So what did I learn from this small experiment? The lines of the 3D print probably makes it hard to take out and probably makes it so that it has that weird effect. The test I did was too small because, I mean, it's going to be hard to pull out foam out of such a small part because there's no, you know what I mean. And I need to test and find the right mixture, because I think if the ratio is not right, then the result might also not be right. So maybe then, if I have the ratio set up correctly, then it might not smash that weirdly, and it might not be that soft on the inside part. And also the PVA works absolutely perfectly, so that's good. So in the meantime, the print nozzle kept getting clogged again. So I had enough. I just sat there and I just kept unclogging it, as you can see on this time lapse. I kept just pausing it right on time when I could hear the motor skip, and I just took off the filaments the entire time, and then it would work again. I think in total I stopped it 30 times and I sat there for 8 hours. I'm not kidding. I think I sat there for 8 hours or even more. I would not be surprised. It's quite satisfying to watch, but damn, that was a waste of my time. I could have just spent that time fixing it. But just guys, keep in mind, I already filled like, I think 20 prints at this point. So then eventually I didn't have to really interrupt it anymore. And at some point I was confident enough to go sleep while the thing prints. I had the live camera view with the audio in my ear so I could hear if it clogs. It was already way further than it was before, so checkpoint unlocked. As you can see, it was pretty good quality. When I woke up, I was super duper happy because it was still working, and it was honestly looking good. I could even see that it clogged like once or twice, and then it recovered by itself, so I was surprised with that. The inside of it was completely good. You can see by the nozzle at the top there how big this entire thing is. I will have to sand this, of course, like I said, so I will go to the hardware shop soon and get some 1000 grid or something. But then the print failed. Not long after this image, I went to the shop and it just fell over, and Jordy was watching the camera and he told me because I didn't even realize. It just fell over. So I don't know, guys. Guys, I got some good news because I went on Cura. I don't know how you pronounce that in English, but the Ultimaker software, you know? And I sliced the print in there. In here, you have the option Z-hopping. So I kind of wanted to turn that on because I think that solves the issue of it falling over and clogging. And what it does is just, when it travels, it picks up the nozzle to travel and then it goes back down when it's at the location it has to be. And this means that it doesn't really go over its own infill too heavily. As you can see, it also does the outer thing layer very, very slow. It does the infill super fast, and I think doing it really fast kind of helps it not clog from its own infill, because then it like goes through melted infill instead of hardened infill, which I think was happening. I did hear some weird sounds during the end of the last print. So I think this is pretty good. It didn't take that much longer. I put the line height on fine, so 0.12 millimeters, and a pretty low infill, but I think it'll be strong enough. This is so satisfying. And guys, it actually ended up working. I turned it on, I didn't have to interrupt a single moment, and right now it's at this stage, which is so far, I think it's about to be further than the other one. So then we're gonna have like two sides nearly done. Now there's a small issue with the mold that we might have to tackle. So I'm gonna draw it out for you guys again in paint. So the mold is kind of like this, right? Very rough. So you got two parts. And you have an internal piece, which is like this somewhat, and that's going to be attached to the top like that. And then in here, you can put the foam and it will go all in here. So like these two sides will close up, of course. and then the distance in between that will obviously turn into foam. Now, this is a 3-part mold, so you can pull this one out, you can pull this one out, and it'll be like fairly easy to pull those two out. But this internal piece is going to be one piece, and that's going to be pretty hard to take out because this will be the internal piece, and then it'll be having contact to the foam at all points and at a pretty deep depth. So I can imagine that this could be a problem. Now, I am uploading this video before we are going to start this internal piece. So if you guys are fast enough, you can let me know your opinions and tell me what to do. So there is one solution I thought of. What if we just chop the internal piece in half? So this is one half and then this would be the other. Now what this would allow is the following. On this place where the other the other half was, we can put like a sheet, I don't know what it's called. And then that sheet would basically go here and you can screw it into the mold like that. So the mold will be closed off and then you have one half instead of both at the same time. Now, which is nice because I only have one side of the mold printed almost, and the other side is like halfly done. So if this one at least works right away, then we might as well just use this mold, cut this in half, only use the right side or the side that is done, and then you can just make two foam things out of it, and then you just glue them together, which is doable because this is obviously a symmetrical shape. And this would also lower some printing time so that we can properly do it next week. Because currently the internal piece like this will take longer than the actual sides because of the infill in the entire part. Just let me know what you think and what I should do. In the meantime, I also did some design work. There was someone new that wanted to build a website for us, which is great. So thank you, Dr. Tenma. So I kind of wanted to make a design so he knows what to do. And I made this, which I think it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. And so it's like driven by volunteers, fueled by ambition, weekly documented on YouTube. I also tried to add like this, but I don't know if I like it. I'm very perfectionistic, a bit too perfectionistic. This took me 3 hours to make because I went through like so many other variations. And then like a little counter of how many volunteers and countries and sponsors. And then down here we can have the Navius matrix where you can get all the features. I should write down all the features, the mission, the attachments, and the cost. And like in the future also like where you can order stuff. Now this website will also have a page where you can sign up to join the team, a place where you can donate or sponsor and get in contact and stuff like that. And in the future, you can also buy the drone on this website, of course. Now, I also did another thing, which is honestly so good looking. I can't believe I made it. It took a while to make, a long while. Basically, this is going to be the ground control station of the drone. So I'll run you through it real quick. It's not fully done yet, so be aware. So this will run on a computer or like a Raspberry Pi with a screen, so we can make like a controller, or just your laptop. You plug in a radio receiver and then you can see all this. So yeah, you got your time, and then here's the Navius Nexus. I don't know why I said Nexus. This is meant to be the Matrix, but the Nexus will also be a drone. So you got like a few pages. I only made the first page. You can see the speed, the height, the heading, and then down here you can like pause the flight or continue the flight. You'll be able to see a warning, the flight time of how long it's been in the air, and how much it has left until it reaches its goal, and of course the battery state. Now on this page next to it, you can see its current location. You can see the in the mission control panel, you can see like an overview of the entire planned mission. You can see how much longer it has to fly. And here you see some things like the radio strength, how far it is with the mission, so 88%, the battery, and if the package, like the state of the package mechanism, if it's ready or already dropped or stuff like that. And here, of course, you can take over the control with like your joystick. You can return to home and you can land. And then somewhere on the right here, I'm yet to add a camera because I guess it's pretty important. We do want an FPV view from the drone. So although we might be using some LoRa stuff, I don't think it can transport like camera view. But next week, we're going way further into this, by the way. We're going to be making a test setup for radio communication and making a little test UI with the same information that is going to be on this, because making that flight controller and programming it is going to be super hard. If you happen to be some really good coder, please apply to also join in the team. There's a Google form in the description. Also, I'm begging you, if you know how to do management in anything, if you can manage and you have time and you want to manage, I would very, very gladly have you in the team, because I'm looking for people that can manage, that have time, because it's a bit too hard for me to manage 7 departments at once, or 6, I don't know. And also, of course, if you have any other skill, definitely applied with the link in the description. So, and also, oh my God, guys, this is amazing. I got my first 2 Patreons, my first 2 Patreons, both in the same week. I didn't get one for ages, and then I got one. On the Patreon, I actually post a lot of stuff. Like, I already posted the web design 2 days ago. I posted a sneak peek of this video 4 days ago, and this one even earlier. And you can also see like some explanations from very smart people, and the upcoming trailer and Blender files. And you can get so much on the Patreon, but actually 2 people subscribed. So a big shout out to Owner, or I don't know exactly how you pronounce the name, Onur. And a big shout out to Yuyu. Onur actually joined the team as well, and Yuyu used to be in the team, but he didn't have time to help. So he had to leave, but he kind of wanted to still contribute, so he did it this way. So thank you so much. If you guys also want to support this project, please be sure to join the Patreon as well, because soon we're gonna have to pay a lot of stuff. So I just lost my girlfriend. That's why this video is online a bit late, and I don't know what I'm going to do for next week's video. On one hand, there's no room for letting this bring me down, but on the other hand, it is very hard to deal with. It was quite a long relationship. Either way, thank you for watching this video. I want to thank everyone that's helping, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.